to institutions that are important on the continent, that are important to Africans and African businesses, and that can ultimately help our Virginia companies to be successful in doing business there. And on the other hand, we're hosting an innovative, first-of-its-kind business trade mission to West Africa for Virginia exporters who are interested in exploring opportunities in the market, but need more support and more guidance than they would in other parts of the world. I'm probably preaching to the choir on this, given the nature of the interests that are here in this room. But outside of this room, some folks might ask, and have asked, why are we doing this? Why focus on this part of the world and promoting more business in this part of the world that is so challenging for American businesses, that's different, that's risky, that can be unstable? Well, I would say it's because it can be those things, but it is also a region and a part of the world that is just ripe with opportunity, as we've been talking about today. The middle class in Africa, as we know, is scheduled to triple by 2030. At that time, it will be 1/5 of the world's population. We'll have a stronger labor pool, more purchasing power than ever before, and populations that are young and growing and increasingly urbanizing. The digital and mobile access is rapidly increasing, and the infrastructure gap is closing. And Africa is primed for mass industrialization. And then there's the importance of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which we haven't really talked about today, but this is an incredible opportunity. It's a bold objective, with the bold objective of eliminating barriers to trade throughout Africa. And it aims to significantly boost inter-African trade, particularly trade in value-added production. And that, of course, opens up a host of opportunities for companies that get their foot in the door in one market, whether by exporting or by investing, that can then access the rest of the continent. And that's just an amazing opportunity that I want more folks to know about. And I really want Virginia companies to be in the best position to capitalize on these economic and demographic trends that I've just mentioned. As we know, the US has essentially ceded influence in this part of the world for far too long. But the US is slowly waking up to the potential that the region does provide, both as a destination for exports, as a source of critical imports, and also for investment. And again, I want Virginia to be at the front of the line as that new realization takes hold. Now this idea to approach Africa as a business destination, as a trading partner, it's not just my personal passion project, and it didn't just come at us overnight. I've had conversations with a lot of different people over the past few years, representatives from associations, senators' offices, USAID, Prosper Africa, consultants, Virginia exporters, both skeptical and interested. And all of those conversations have been centered around, why don't more US companies do business in Africa? And if we want to change that, what do we need to do? And with those conversations and thinking about all of that for this period of time, I realized a few things. Number one, if we want more Virginia companies, US and Virginia companies, interested in Africa and truly ready to explore its potential, we need to give them more information, more support, more guidance, and a solid network that can help them mitigate the real risks to doing business and also to access the most rewarding opportunities. We also need to get them on the ground. That was mentioned earlier today, and I absolutely agree. You have to travel, you have to see and experience the market and meet the potential customers, the people you're going to be doing business with. And second, to help Virginia companies to be successful in Africa, we need them to understand and get connected to the organizations on the continent that represent African economic and business interests and shape the economies, governance, and connectivity of each of its regions. So here's what we're doing. 2 consecutive lines of activity. First, as I mentioned, we're hosting an exploratory trade mission to Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire in May 2024 for Virginia exporters. We have at VEDP a pretty well-honed approach to hosting trade missions around the world, but we knew that with this one and in this part of the world, we have to do things a bit differently. So there are several unique aspects to the trip.